Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy 6Shot, this 6Shot Gaming Channel, and I am back with another What to Do on Block Vifia. This time it was all about Krillin, that bald-headed monk. He a monk, right? I think that was a story in Dragon Ball when he first met Goku. He was a monk. I can't remember, but I believe he's a monk. He was a monk, or whatever. But anyways, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure to hit the notification bell to get alerted every single time I drop a new video. Tongue twister right there. Also, make sure to check the description box below to gain access on my social media accounts that you can help support my channel on. I greatly appreciate it. But anyways, let's get started. So the first move we're gonna learn to incorporate in our block strings is the Solar Flare. So Krillin's Solar Flare is the only special move that helps him keep his block strings 100% a true block string. As you can see on screen, no matter how many times I mash a button or anything like that, I cannot hit Krillin out, or I wouldn't get hit because Solar Flare keeps him in a true block string. Also, Solar Flare is 100% safe on block, so you cannot punish this at all. So if you need to end your block string off with something safe, this is the go-to way to do so, is the Solar Flare. Another thing you can do with a Solar Flare is add in the vanish to have that vanish pressure, so you have to push strings after the vanish, like you learn with all the other characters. The only thing about Solar Flare, it doesn't have that much block stun as like a Kamehameha would, so yeah, the person would have to actually block the other way to block the vanish. If not, the vanish is going to hit them. So, moving on from there, we're going to talk about how a little trick we can do is to delay the Solar Flare. So if you delay the block string and the Solar Flare just a little bit to the point where there's a gap into it, your opponent can't get hit by the Solar Flare. And you can do a lot of stuff moving on from there. But before we get to all the stuff you can do off of a delayed Solar Flare, we got to talk about the ways you can punish it. So, since there is a gap, almost all the universal ways you can punish gaps is available here. You can reflect it. You can also try to vanish it, but if you delay the Solar Flare just right, it's very hard to vanish. You are capable of vanishing it, but your timing has to be really on point. As you can see, it's very hard to get the timing down. The ways to go to punish this is just by reflecting or doing an invincible move. But as you can see how many times it took me to vanish, and I just now got the vanish. So yeah. And the other surefire way to beat it out is just doing an invincible start move like a DP or a level 3 super. Those are some things you can do to beat out a delayed Solar Flare. So if you catch the opponent with a delayed Solar Flare, you can easily confirm and call an assist out and get a full combo from there. So that's very good. You can easily confirm it to the Solar Flare with an assist. Another thing you could do is if you catch the opponent with a delayed Solar Flare, you can easily just go into your level 1 super to get quick damage. If you're not too much confident about calling an assist out in time, you can just do that to get quick damage. Another thing you could do off of a delayed Solar Flare is just go straight into your level 3. If you go straight into a level 3 off of a delayed Solar Flare, it will definitely hit, and you have the hard knockdown, so you can set them up with any type of setup or mix up after that. Another thing you can do is call an assist out with proper timing after the Solar Flare to keep them in a true block string, and you keep on your true block string pressure from there. Or with proper timing, you will slightly delay the assist to catch the opponent off guard, that the opponent try to retaliate. They will get hit by assist and get them with a full combo, just like so. And if you have the good right assist like Yamcha and you call it perfect timing, this tactic will also catch jumpers as well. Sometimes they won't, and then sometimes you can even catch them in the first few frames of them jumping, just like so, and you still get a full combo. So yeah, Solar Flare with assist is a good tool. The only thing about that is, since you're slightly delaying it, the assist, there is a gap, so you can't reflect out of it. You can also vanish off of it as well. But sometimes you can get beat out just like so. But you can vanish out of it. You can also do a invincible level 3 as well out of this type of pressure. So you have to really read the situation and basically condition your opponent. So moving on from there, the next special move we're going to talk about to incorporate into your block strings is the Kamehameha. So Krillin's Kamehameha it's good for certain reasons. But on block, it's probably the worst Kamehameha on block. You can punish it full on block with a full combo with any character. Some characters, if you stand still, you will miss. But other characters, you can just easily run up just like so and punish them on block. So that's really bad on block for Kamehameha. He's probably the worst one. And of course, every single character in the corner can punish Kamehameha. I think the only one you can't punish is Goku Black Kamehameha in the corner. If you block it, you probably have to reflect it. So yeah, moving on about the Kamehameha. So you can also add a Ki Blast in there to help add pushback so you won't get punished so easily. So another thing about the Kamehameha is that there is a gap in between, just like all the other Kamehameha. So if your opponents press the button, they will be hit, and you already know where we're gonna go from there. So since there's a gap in the block string, you can easily reflect just like so, and you can also do an invincible start move like a DP or a level 3 super or any super with invincibility in the starter, just like so. The one thing you can't do at all against Krillin's Kamehameha that you could do against other people's Kamehameha is do a vanish. I don't know if I just messed up on the timing or like that, but I'm trying my hardest to get a vanish out, and I was not able to get a vanish out through all my testing. I don't know if it's because of the delay or something like that, but you cannot vanish through Krillin's Kamehameha. So moving on from there, with Krillin's Kamehameha, you can always add in the vanish, your own vanish once it hits, and you continue on the combo. And if your opponent blocks the vanish, you always have the plus frame pressure after that. And since his Kamehameha adds a block stun, you don't have to worry about your opponent blocking the wrong way when getting hit. So the one unique thing about Krillin's Kamehameha compared to everybody else is that he can actually charge the Kamehameha. But the one thing about this is if you charge the Kamehameha right in front of your face, you can easily punish with anything you really want to. So yeah. But Krillin can get a little bit evasive with his Kamehameha because he can actually jump in the air as he charges the Kamehameha and shoot at any time. He can also do a double jump as well and then hit the floor and then shoot it. So this makes Krillin very, very good when it comes to like baiting out stuff with the Kamehameha. Like in a situation right here, say if a character is trying to like jump on quick tag the gap, you can easily bait out the Kamehameha on the tag just like so with the Kamehameha. So the next move we're going to learn to incorporate into Krillin's block strings is his at the image attack. So Krillin at the image attack is pretty unique, and the mover's block is 100% safe on block. Now, also, it is a overhead, so you have to block this move standing up. As you can see, you have to block it standing. Because if you block it crouching, you're going to get hit with the attack. Also, if you try to interrupt the attack with light attacks, especially if you have short, stubby light attacks, like with a down light or a standing light, you're going to get hit. But you can interrupt the move with anything other than light, so like a medium attack or heavy attack. Anything that's pretty quick enough, you can interrupt it with. And also, since the move is airborne, when you go for that overhead kick, you can't down heavy it. So another thing about this move is that there is obviously a gap in it, so you can easily reflect the move. You can also vanish the move just like so. Another thing you can do is do an invincible startup move like a DP or level 3 super to beat out the at the image attack. So one thing about the at the image technique is that you could actually cancel and do a feint by holding down the button. And if you feint, if your opponent tries to retaliate with light attacks, stuff like that, they're going to completely miss. And even some down heavies will miss. But the one trash thing about this move is that you can still beat him out. He's the same way you could punish it if he was to let the at the image attack rip, is the same as that way you could punish the feint. He does not recover enough. He doesn't recover fast enough to block in time. So you can easily punish with any move that's going to be able to reach Krillin in time. So any down heavy that's able to reach Krillin in time, any light attack, medium attack, light attack, or even heavy attack that's able to reach Krillin in time before he recovers the block, can't punish his attack. So that's trash. So the one way to go about using at the image technique is using it within a block string with an assist. If you use the after image technique with an assist and you lock down your opponent that way, you're able to go ahead and do a high-low mix-up. You could feint and then go for a low, or you go ahead and go for an overhead. As you can see, you're able to feint in time and go for the low, or you could just go ahead and let the overhead rip and you can punish your opponent. And if you use it with a kid bull assist, then you're going to be putting your opponent into a true block string situation where they can't really do nothing if you use it properly. You can also use this with other assists as well and get the same type of mix-up, the overhead mix-up, or you could feint with a proper well-timed assist and get the low mix-up as well. The only thing is that depending on assist, the opponent might be able to reflect right after and punish you, so you have to be very, very aware about that. So if you feel like your opponent is going to reflect your incoming mix-up, you can easily drag and rush them, or just bait out the drag and rush and go with a down medium for max damage, as you can see. So moving on from there, we're going to talk about the medium version of the after image technique and how to incorporate it into Krillin's block strings. So the medium version of the after image technique basically crosses up and goes, and basically he jumps over completely their opponent and goes completely over, and once they touch the floor, it's very, very hard to punish them. And like as you see, it's 100% safe once they touch the floor, and you can also be like kind of too late to punish. If you know that the medium version is coming, it's kind of hard to punish it, but as you can see, you can run up and catch them right before they hit the ground. Another thing is that the medium version suffers for the same thing that all the other versions, the light version, suffer as well. That you can easily hit out the opponent in the very beginning of the after image technique, just like so. You can do it with medium attacks, heavy attacks, a down heavy that reaches anything. So with that being said, your best bet is to use assist, just like you use with the light version, and you catch your opponent off guard. But Kid Buu doesn't really work out in this situation. It doesn't keep him in a true block string. Your opponent is able to jump out the way. Your opponent is able to reflect because it's not a true block string. Your opponent is able to do a whole bunch of it. They're able to reflect out the way as well and then punish you. And they also able to just cleanly just beat you out with a light attack of their own if you try to dash up and punish them. So you have to read the situation and punish your opponent accordingly. But if you feint and you have enough timing to keep your opponent a true block string, if you use the Kid Buu assist, if you're going for like a down light or even a down medium, so that's pretty good if you feint it and your opponent thinks you're going to try to cross them up. And you can also use the same technique with other assists as well, but you're going to be still in the same situation where they're able to reflect. But with other assists, you're able to do this mix up as well, so keep that in mind. Another thing you could do, especially with like assists like Yamcha or Bardock, you could do the after image and then call the assist. And even though it won't cross the opponent up because of cross-up protection in this game, you have them in a sandwich situation where they have to guess what's next and stuff like that. So the next version that we're going to talk about that you can incorporate into Krillin's block strings is the enhanced version of his after image attack. So Krillin's after image attack, the enhanced version, is pretty unique. Instead of doing the feint or whatever, or instead of just strictly jumping over the opponent, he actually has like two versions of himself. One is running at you and one is doing the overhead attack. And if you want, you can cancel out of any version you want with any little thing you want. So as you're running towards the opponent, you can run towards them and cancel to anything, like low attacks, regular light attacks, super dash, dragon rush, so on and so on. So you can use this in a block string as well, but it pretty much has the same problems that all the other after image have. You can get beat out. So your best bet is to use it with assist and a block string and beat your opponent out. And you basically can get all the same type of mix-ups, and this one will just be a little bit trickier because your opponent has two things to worry about that's going at you. So if you feel like your opponent's gonna dragon, if you feel like the opponent's gonna reflect, you can set them up for a dragon rush, so on and so forth. Bait the reflect out, do whatever you want, set them up and mix them up however you want. But to be honest, You could do all this stuff with the original after image attack. So yeah. So moving on from there, we're gonna talk about Krillin's rock throw and the pressure that you could use with it within your block strings in the corner. So Krillin's rock throw in the corner is very, very good as a mix-up tool, especially when you use not by itself, but when you use it with an assist. It's very, very good. One thing about Krillin rock throw is that you're able to air dash out of the rock throw. So mixing up your opponent is pretty good, and since you are airborne with the once you throw the rock, you're able to come out the air with a light or medium button. You could try to do it heavy, but the heavy takes too long, and then this is where you get the mix up with a low overhead type of mix up. So when you throw in an assist in, you can come out the air with heavy attack. I mean, not heavy attack, with an air attack to try to mix your opponent. You can do it with the medium, or you can do it with the light, and your opponent has to block standing. Or you could mix them up and just empty jump, fall to the floor, and do a low attack. So now we're gonna go over all the mix-ups. You could do mix-ups just like this. You can come out the air with a medium, and through this whole system time, your opponent, if you do the assist correctly and everything like that, your opponent cannot down heavy you out this. They cannot press no buttons at all out of this. They can't vanish out the situation. The only thing they can do is reflect, and they could do like a invincible start move like a DP or level 3 super. But everything else that you can normally do to beat out airborne moves like a down heavy or a vanish, it's not going to work in time. Especially when you use a block string like this with the right assist, they're going to be stuck and it's not going to work, and you can just straight mix your opponent from there. And you can even get a safe jump situation if you time it correctly. You can also go for the empty rock throw, hit the floor, and go for lows. And the damage is not that great, but it's still a good tool to use to catch your opponent on guard. And the only thing about this version is that since it takes longer for the opponent to hit the floor, for you to hit the floor with Krillin, your opponent can easily reflect and vanish out the situation. So I advise you to set your opponent up first with a couple overheads first, and then go for this. Next, you can also just do overhead low, and that's always good. Catch your opponent on guard, overhead low, and yeah, that's a good mix-up, especially since you can air dash out of this as well. So another thing you can do is if you're using the Kid Buu assist, it makes this mix-up even more deadly, because then you can start adding in your air dash setups after that, and your opponent's throwing a block straight. But first, let's talk about the enhanced version. The enhanced version, you can recover it. He throws a rock quickly, and you recover fast enough that you're able to do an air heavy, and your opponent cannot reflect the air heavy. The only thing they can reflect is the follow-up attack after the air heavy. Now moving back to the Kid Buu assist, if you use the Kid Buu assist, you're able to use the air dash for double overhead stuff, and that's very, very good. So you can do air dash, double overhead, or air dash, empty, hit the floor, do double low, mix up your opponent just like so. And those are very, very good things to have if you're using the Kid Buu assist. Or any assist that locks them down long enough. You can do overhead low, and that's very good as well. Or you can set them up for a Dragon Rush, and so on and so forth. So you have a lot of mix-up options if you have an assist that locks down your opponent long enough like Kid Buu's. Go Tanks will work well in this situation as well. So moving on, we're going to talk about some Oki situations for Krillin. So if you hit the floor, use the medium rock throw, and do an instant air dash after that, you're able to do some safe jump situations. And it's going to catch your opponent if they up tech, and they don't up tech, they're going to get hit with the overhead they blocking low. And even if the rock doesn't hit the opponent, you still have good timing to do a safe jump, and you're able to hit them with a double overhead, overhead low, hit them with the regular heavy overhead, continue block pressure, or hit them with a overhead, double overhead, go into a Dragon Rush, so on and so forth. The mix-ups is very good with this situation. Another thing you could do is do a regular standard combo, get the sliding knockdown, do an instant air dash, then do a solo flare. Now, if this is going to make the opponent block, right? This is going to make the opponent block if they do an up tech. And if they're pressing any type of buttons while they up taking, the solar flare is going to hit, and the solar flare hits, you can easily call out assist to confirm the off the solar flare and get full combo just like so. As you can see on screen, boom, solar flare hits, I go for a full combo, boom, and get tons of damage. Get level 3. After that, you get your little mixer from there. Or what you could do is you can easily kill off this situation as well. You do your regular combo, start off with a down medium, boom, instant air dash, solar flare, and catches them, call a right assist, do your combo again, come down after you get the sliding knockdown, and then go into your supers. Most likely you got, if you have enough bars, most likely you gotta just do 2 destructive this into all 3 supers until level 3, and that's a dead character right there. So that's very, very good as well if you're able to get into that situation. But yeah, folks, that's pretty much it. That's the end of the road for this video. What to do on block Krillin. Hopefully you was able to learn something new. If you wasn't able to learn something new, please smash the like button. I greatly appreciate it. Make sure, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Check out some of the past content. I have tons of what to do on blocks on all the characters. The only character I'm missing is Magical. He will be next, of course. Also, stay tuned to the update video so you can see where my channel direction is headed, the games I'm going to be doing, so on and so forth. But yeah, anyways, moving on from there, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell to get alerted every time I drop a new vid for y'all. Also, if you want to help support me and the channel in any type of way, check out the link below in the description box and gain access to all my social media accounts. But besides that, hope all you have a nice day. Peace.